What's up, everybody? It's Heat Override, and I'm ready to bring the pain for you and Dr. Roto this week. Ooh, yeah. Woo! As you already seen, you already know what the episode about. It's about my IDP 2024. It's time to talk IDP, people. I know that maybe a lot of you didn't go back into my backlog and check out my other IDP stuff I had from last year because all IDP talk is usually relevant, unless, of course, it's pick, rankings, tiers, and even some of those guys carry over from year to year. And my thoughts are still the same each year to year with those same guys. Hi, everybody. It's time to break the pain. Yeah. All right. I hope everybody's had a great week, a great off season. I hope that a lot of your dynasty and best ball drafts are going great as well. If they are not, and you think you need to brush up on a few of your skills, you'll want to head over to drroto.com with code word doc. You can save a certain percentage off of your subscription and come into our subs only Discord and get a hell of a time with guys like Danger, Doc himself, and yes, Heat Override. Oh, yeah. All right. Now that we got all that stuff out the way, let's get to it. Man, first thing about IDP, of course, is tackles. Tackles are going to give you a good average. When you move over to sacks, stuffs, if your league's credit sacks and stuffs, and also quarterback pressures, hits. There are leagues that credit all of this stuff. This is big. You may not have the best guy that getting sacks. You may not have TJ Watt. But of course, if you have a guy that generates a lot of pressure and can get hits and get points for you there, then that helps you drive up your average as long as he gets some tackles as well with it too. And maybe some sacks, right? Interceptions and defended passes are also big too. Again, I cannot stress any expert, especially me, you have to know your scoring. I see people in high stakes league go in thinking that they're the stuff. And guess what? They don't check out the scoring. They don't check out the position breakdown. They don't know if there's a third round reversal, which is, it's not good. You know, when I was in the Scott Fish Bowl 11 and I self proclaimed myself the KISS division champion at the beginning of the and came through and won the KISS division on that season. Of course, my team was banged up going into the playoffs. I didn't have McCaffrey. So, and no, neither did other people. So once I got to that next level, I just didn't have my guys. But the people that I beat in the KISS division in 2021 in Scott Fish Bowl 11, right? Those people right there were the people that are supposed to be the best in this industry. And I did it. I did it with the third round reversal and my losing my first round guy. So not only did I have to go to the back of the third round, if a lot of you guys know if that is, that means, you know, you get the first pick and then you get that second pick and you think you're doing great. And then it reverses and then everything's screwed up and now you're not picking for a long time. When you lose your number one pick and you're in that first position, to put a team together and still lead the league with a tie at record. Yes, I did tie. And I mean, but I beat him in the season and I had more points than anybody else in that season. And I did that again without that. It comes down to drafting. And why IDP is the same is you have to have the best defensive player. So you have my rankings, you have my tiers list. And if you're part of the Subs Only Discord, I will help you. My articles all year long were one of the best IDP articles for streaming or picking up players that were replacing injured players on your team every single week. I hit my mark last year more than 90% of the time, every single week. And now it may seem like I'm blowing smoke up my own, but I'm not. Facts don't lie. And when you come to Dr. Roto, you get the best IDP information in the entire industry. Oh, yeah. You feel my energy on that? Because ain't nobody going to say it like me. And that's what I say. I target things. How many times last year did I, amongst talking with my people, pick somebody who was going to have a pick six? I did Brian Branch first week. My guy was like, look, it's what I got. I said, take Brian Branch and play him. When he scored that touchdown and showed it, it only showed how last year was going to be and go for my IDP article and expertise. Dig it? So when you talk about that, you well, when should you draft IDP? So let's say you're in a 16 round, you get 16 players or 18 players. So you have 16 or 18 rounds. So you're typically going to want to start looking at IDP around 13. Now, earlier, if you want players like TJ Watt, but let the fools make those mistakes. Those people that start reaching for IDP in 8th or ninth round are really letting their team down. You could have a handcuffed running back that could be vital. Again, last year, around those rounds, I gave up a chance at Roquan Smith and bringing back in a lot of my players. Instead, I went with Zaire Franklin. But while everybody was picking defensive players, I picked a certain backup. And a certain backup was Jerome Ford. So that gave me a starting running back. Of course, Kareem Hunt came back in and had stuff, but the way Ford played and the games that Ford had helped my team turn around their defending champion season and finish third place and win some more money and make this year even free, as last year was free as well. That is what fantasy football is about. It's not always winning your league championship. It's about taking money home, making next year free. So even if you don't get it right, you're going to win a little bit of money. You get the shit talk. Sorry about that. And at the same time, you get to have fun with your friends, drink some beers, or do whatever you do during your live drafts. You do. I mean, anybody that live drafts with me already knows that it's the most exciting draft ever. I am literally off the chain. And when everybody is sitting there enamored by my comments or maybe thinking they're going to get up on me, that's part of the play, team. That's part of the play. I'm throwing all you off your game. That's why live drafting with me, it's almost impossible. It's like playing poker. I'm going to take you out. I'm going to take you out. Watch. You could do your rankings after every draft. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be in the top 5 or 6 teams. Last year, I was chose to go 7th in my defensive rankings, or not defensive rankings, 7th in that league that I had come off a championship with. And I ended up finishing 3rd, just like I said. And that was even though ESPN said I was going to be 7th on the outside of the playoffs. They didn't know about Nick Chubb. They didn't know that you should have a backup play. And that is why letting all those people go for the big names and heading over to Dr. Roto and checking out my tiers really will help you with those later rounds. So if you are in an 18 round, then you should be picking your defensive players around 15 or 16. That's if you're going to start 2. If you're going to start 2 players, you want to do that because your kicker and defense, if you even have a kicker or defense to start in those leagues, should be last. I would rather have a defense, of course, or an IDP player over a defense because consistently they're going to make points where some weeks your defense could get wrecked. Say they play somebody like the Chiefs, Eagles, any of those teams, Dallas, and you get in a 38-35 game, your defense is junk. You're going to get 4 or 5 points maybe. Whereas if you have a great IDP player, you could be getting 15 to 20. Again, let's be smart about this, people. Let's talk about the facts. Let's talk about it, right? But let's get to it. I have a little something for you. If you read my little article read up, you know that I'm going to pick the IDP Rookie of the Year. Well, actually, the Rookie of the Year. Just like last year, when I called Will Anderson Jr., I'm calling it again this year. Maybe I'll get it wrong. That's fine. But if you listened to me last year, you won, right? And it was kind of no-brainer. I thought that Will Anderson would have had around 11 sacks. And I thought that maybe if a linebacker, or mostly a linebacker, because there was some good ones last year, would have played a little better, they might have been able to unseat him. They couldn't do it, though. But let's talk about Will Anderson. 45 tackles. We got 7 sacks. He played 630 snaps. He played in 15 games. He started 13 of those games. All right. So if he would have played a full season, 17 games, I feel that Will Anderson would have definitely hit that mark that I had set for him. So again, when it comes to defense, when it comes to IDP, I am the hero. Hashtag IDP hero, Mr. Heat Override. Ooh, yeah. Dig it. All right. So let's look at some of the odds books and everything like that. Now, these numbers are going to fluctuate. So, of course, right now, Dallas Turner is at the top. You're getting a little of Latu. I'm having problems. I just got back from Latu. Okay, hopefully I get it right that time. So, hey, it's tournament week. I got a tournament. So, karate, 90-degree weather, that's no excuse, though. That's just what happens. So, we got Quinion Mitchell, right? Jared Verse, Byron Murphy. Those are about your top 5 right there. Okay. Now, I see Kool-Aid McKinstry getting some real cool, hot odds right now. That seems really fun to play with. But let me tell you something. When you're looking around 400 range, like 380 on DraftKings, 430 on FanDuel for Dallas Turner, or you're looking at Latu as like a 550, 500 right around there. So you're looking at your 400 guy, which is Turner, your 500 guy, which is Latu. They've got Mitchell up there. They really think that because Slay's on the other side, that people are going to be testing Mitchell and to give him a chance to get some tackles. Look, unless he does what DeRon Bland did last year, I don't see him winning Rookie of the Year. I mean, he is a great corner. He is a great corner, but there is some vicious pass rushers in this draft. So he's going to have to get over people like Jared Verse, Byron Murphy, Chop Robinson. All these players are in there. But let's talk about it. Mr. Heated Override, who do you think will win the Defensive Rookie of the Year next year for the 2024-2025 season? It's going to be Jared Verse. Horns up, Rams Nation. What am I talking about? You're about to find out what I'm talking about. The Rams not only retooled their defense and, of course, lost Morris, but bringing in Chris Shula, who's been with the team since 2017, he knows the system. He now has a chance to prove himself on that next level that he could be a dominant defensive head coach, defensive coach. And it could lead to a head coaching opportunity like it did for Raheem Morris. At the same time, the Rams are running a 3-4 defense. So, of course, you're going to have Fisk and Bobby Brown down there, down low. And that's going to be my prerogative that I'm saying that Verse is going to win, because when you got people like Ernest Jones hounding the middle of the field, and now you have Tre'Davious White, you brought in Cameron Curl, you have Cameron Kitchens, you got the Cameron brothers, yeah, right? And you got all that goodness around the Rams right now. It's almost a no-brainer that the Rams are setting up a defense for the future, and they're handing it to Chris Shula, who's starting his future. This team is only up. And if you think I'm talking out of my stuff again, you're wrong, because the Rams have a lot of sacks on the board that they didn't have and they couldn't get last year because they were undermanned underneath. They couldn't get it. But now you see all this talk that Verse and Fisk keep doing, and you think I'm going to ignore it, and you're all going to ignore it, and you're not going to look at the odds that actually Verse is around 1,100 and 1,200 odds for Rookie of the Year this year. Throw $5 on it, man. You could win $55 if I'm right, and then you'll be right. And if you really want to wedge yourself, well, then throw $5 on Dallas Turner if you think he's going to do it. That's it. Throw your money down, cover yourself. You got 2 picks. You got 2 players that play it. But you see, I know with Hunter leaving Minnesota that all those sacks are now gone. But there's a lot of experts in this industry that thought that Hunter, that is, shouldn't have really had that great of a season, although he was written up every single week on my IDP Heats of the Week. And I wonder why. Because I had trusted him and I knew it, and I knew that system. So Turner can step in. But again, the problem is going to lie on snaps in games played. And right now, the Rams are going to let Verse play every game he can play. And that gives him at least 17 games. If he can play 17 games, I can easily see a 10-plus sack season from Jared Verse. And even if he doesn't win and you can find that prop that Verse can go 10-plus, you find a 9-plus or 8-plus, maybe it's really low. It could be 6-plus, right? And when you find those odds, you got to smash that. You have to make sure that you hit that sports book harder than you thought you could, because what's going to happen is he is going to be able to. Now, with him and Fisk, as you go to my other IDP articles I've done recently when I was talking about my IDP players and stuff like that, and talked about Fisk and Verse and how they played together and the stats that they did and the point system that I used with them, you're going to understand that there is going to be opportunity here. And I know that the Colts got Latu, right? But they still have a monster in the middle, with DeForest Buckner. So he's still going to be there doing his thing. And when you have EJ Speed and Zaire Franklin running around like madmen, I'm telling you, it almost feels like that's a pit hole. So I don't want to play with that. I don't want to take a chance with Minnesota, although he might be out there for a lot. And I'm talking about Turner. But when I see the pure talent, raw talent of a pass rusher, I'm looking at Jared Verse winning Defensive Rookie of the Year for the NFL this year. Have a great day, everybody. Get to Dr. Roto. Get all your information. Follow me on YouTube, Spreaker, Facebook, Twitter, Twix, X, whatever you want to call it. Follow me there at Heat Override. You will find Bring the Pain. There it is right there. You can read that, right? Oh, yeah. It's right behind me, too. And that's how you always remember to bring the tackles. Yeah.